You know, you look around college football now and you got GMs, you got the whole front office becoming NFL. And it's like the NFL draft with both portal windows. And so when we first got here, I was talking to our linebackers coach, Chris Swans, the other day, and how far we've just come to where we're at now. And I remember pulling up here with Coach Kidley one of those first days, and you're starting with the spreadsheet, like, what do we have? What's this roster? We had 2 interior D linemen on scholarship when I first got here with no D-line coach in the transfer portal. And so you had to hire Coach Santana pretty quick, which lucked out with him not knowing him. He's done a hell of a job coaching those guys. And we signed 5 D linemen in December. And I believe in that first portal window, oversigned at interior D linemen, because in the second portal window, everybody needs D tackles. It's like the NFL draft. D tackles, edge rushers, corners, quarterbacks, they're going to get overpaid. And so we lucked out then, and knowing we were going to be pretty thin in the secondary in the spring, kind of go through what we had, and then we added 7 DBs that came in here this summer. You know, 4 at safety and then 3 at corner. And so we knew at DB what we needed to figure out what our roster was is we needed in-game experience, a little bit more physicality after we went through spring. Had some really good young players, you know, like Damon Allen that was here in the spring early, Kyle that we knew we wanted to continue to develop, and we're firm believers of taking high school kids and develop them so we can get a better quality of player there. But we know at the same time, guys come and play and do really well, they're going to get paid a lot more money at other schools and have some opportunities that they can't say no to. It's just reality of what it is. And so we wanted to bring in some guys that were either we had previous relationship with, in-game experience that we can kind of piece the puzzles together to help us out. And you know, we're 3 practices in. They had 15 practices this summer of football school, OTAs, but we can't be out there filming and coaching with them when they're going against each other. And so it's year round, but at least they kind of know what to do. And this happens quick because we get 14 total practices until we start mock game week. So now it's only 11, and really it's 9 practices. We got 2 scrimmages in there, so it happens quick.
Coach, usually the offense, in my mind, seems to be ahead of the defense when you come out of the gate, especially on scripted plays and that kind of thing. The last 2 days, Coach has complimented the defense on some of the things that they're doing. What exactly is happening in your side of the ball that is helping you in that area?
What I think that helps is when we first got here, a lot of guys, especially up front, is you have, like I said, it's year round. We had 6 football schools before spring ball. You have 15 spring practices, 15 OTAs in the summer, and so they're hearing a lot of this for their 5th or 6th time. The meetings don't stop. For the secondary is new, you know, and so there's also, you know, there's plays out there that aren't getting hit sometimes that are busted coverage or the case maybe we need to eliminate. And so, but it's all, you know, you script certain things and then Coach Kidley's good on just go out there and play football. And so we're at the start of it. A lot of our base installs in first 3 days, and then we kind of get a little more situational, 3rd down and red zone and all that's coming up, 2 minute, and then we kind of put the ball down and play a little bit more. But I know like today there's some areas today where, you know, what we call on our install and what they have on their install, it might be good for us at times, and it might be, man, it's a conflict play on either side of the ball. And so it's hard to tell you until you go out there and just play ball, and then we're still kind of figuring out what our identity is and what we want to do exactly schematically versus our offense, and then also the types of options that you'll see in this league, from everything from spread to option to 12 personnel and all that. So they make it hard on us.
Is the main thing, you know, when you come in here, trying to affect the quarterback, not necessarily sacks, but just make him move, screw up his timing? Is that like one of the main tenets of your defense that's got to happen this year? You know,
I preached them the other day. It's really, you know, it's for us, it's 4 things. You know, we talk about spot the ball. Our offense is going to go fast. They're going to go for on 4th down. We know we're going to play a lot of plays. There's going to be times where they save our butt, and there's going to be times where all of a sudden they don't get it at our own 30-yard line. It doesn't matter. Spot the ball. Our job's to go play. And then elite edge. You know, it don't matter what you do. It's playing violent, it's playing physical, it's running the ball. Everybody knows football. You pop on the tape, no matter what they do. Good defenses are guys that play fast, run the ball, tackle well, and then communicate and anticipate. More games are lost than they are won. And if you don't get lined up right to tempo, you don't get lined up right to imbalance, teams find you. No matter how hard you play, you're beat. So you got to communicate and then anticipate the game within the game, situational ball, 3rd and 3 versus 3rd and 8 versus 2 minute. And then obviously talk about havoc. And havoc for us is affecting the quarterback. Sacks, obviously, interceptions, forced fumbles, but then it's tackles for loss, quarterback hurries, tip balls, all that to get offenses behind the chains. Some of you are so aggressive now, and if you're always 2nd and 6, 3rd and 1, you're bleeding to death. And you want to be able to, for us, with our offense going fast, be able to tackle a little bit more and try to get them behind the sticks and get the ball back to our offense.
Coach, obviously the season's right around the corner. You've had some time to figure some things out. Are we expecting you to be upstairs or downstairs guy? Are you going to be on the field? Are you going to be up in the booth?
I'll probably be down. There's one scrimmage where I was trying to figure it out, and I went upstairs, and you see it better, obviously. And the one scrimmage I was down, I played really well, and I go up top, and we didn't play very well. And so Coach used to say, "Well, I'm going to go downstairs." But it's it's just communicating with your guys and getting the feel and talking to them. But you got to have people you trust upstairs, and the iPads obviously help it a lot more too now. It used to be upstairs of like who saw what's going on, and you're still getting that communication, but then as soon as the series is done, you get back in the iPad and you see what happened on the iPad as well, and so plan to be down.
Coach, you kind of described how you want your defense to play, answering his question. Mine has there been anybody through the first couple of days of camp that really fit that profile that you mentioned?
We're talking all the time of just being a football player. We want multiple guys. Obviously, there's talent and all that, but we're playing in a football shape, and guys that want to fight, that love ball, consistent learners, wanting to elevate and improve all the time, right? And that's players and coaches. And so I do think we have a good group, and I think that's key in a lot of college football now is so many transfer portals is you got to hit on your transfer guys you bring in. And I think we have a good nucleus of guys that love ball, that want to learn, want to improve, and then a good group of young guys that are getting that way. And our job is to put the right people on the bus in the right seats. And I think for the majority, we got guys that want to be coached and that play hard. And there's a few more we're bringing along, but I could go on in a few spots, but it's hard. It's first day in pads, and so I don't want to blow up to anybody yet and all that stuff because how guys are. But I think in general we have really, really good kids, and I first said that when I came in here, taking over a program. Really, really good kids that want to be coached. Good relationship with our guys, and Coach Kidley makes it, a family environment, and want the kids. The best part of their day is coming in the building, want to be here, want to be coached hard and learn. And so time will tell as that goes on. But we have a good nucleus, and if there's any other questions on certain guys and certain groups, I'd be happy to answer.
I got one real quick. In the spring, I asked you if anybody popped out. Now we're in fall, and I heard your first answer there. Mm-hmm. So, but is anybody really like, hey, this guy is impressing me?
No, I think I'm starting the back end where I'm at. I think Therese Reed, who just came in, he's a prime example of a guy that took a lot of hours. He took like 20-something hours to be eligible this summer.
Really? Because
the hard part is progress towards degree. He started 3 years and played ball, and then went to UTEP, and then came back at Grand Valley. Lost track of the school he was at, Grand Valley State, and so he played a lot of football. That's huge. And he's been impressive. He's smart. He's everything you want. And we have a lot of kids like that. Chris Tooley's another kid. It's just kids you love being around, love coaching. It's important to them. They're texting you at night. Hey, you got all these installs. He's taking 27 hours, and he's got every install out and texting me a question. Why are we doing this compared to that? He's up there doing extra work. Josh Roberts is out there. We're having another young guy. We're having official visits and bringing kids back to dinner, and he's out there with the agiles and pads by himself late at night. And so that's what you want to see. But Therese is one that pops out, who's going to do good things. That can play outside, has the ability to play inside. We're going to have a lot of competition at safety there, and who ended up going. And I don't know if we're going to have a starting group. There are going to be 2 or 3 guys that pop in for rotation as we roll with it. Obviously, Tyler Stolz's leadership as he came in. He's everything that you want in a middle linebacker. It's important to him. He's played ball, communicates, and then from the front, there's a lot of competition there. We're really solid inside with CJ and Bryce. That done a heck of a job of physicality and leadership. And then at edge, we're having competition at those spots. Brought in Deshaun from Tulane, who's played ball as well. He's playing in the shape, and so a lot will be determined. We have the best part of us as coaches now is we have guys that have played in games here or other places that could be a 3 right now, right? And so you're not just handcuffed, this guy has to go out there. You got to play well and practice well to go out there. And so guys, I think, feel it a little bit. And I'm not naive, there's competition and some other position groups a little more than others, but then guys are battling out who's the third guy to go in or who's second team, or if the guy goes down and one's not playing well, they're going to step in and go play.
You kind of touched on it a little bit through that answer. What guys have really started to emerge as leaders, whether it be from spring into summer and through those practices, and now heading into fall camp? And second part to that question, what do you want to see from the rest of your unit in terms of leadership as you approach the regular season?
And I'm answering that second part first. You know, as Coach said, we figure it all the time. Is it player-led or coach-led? You know, and Coach Skitley obviously wants a player-led team. All great teams, as you guys know, are not just led from the top down, but inside out. So you want the players to lead that. And so I think when we first got here, and when I came back in July, when it's our vacation and coaches aren't around, you kind of watch a little bit more and see who's leading the off season. And so some guys are new, you know, they're figuring out the scheme, they haven't played here, so they're kind of like, do I have a voice or not? So they're kind of waiting to make plays before they talk. But, you know, in general, obviously with Tyler Stolsky being there at linebacker and communicating, but he's a defined leader for us. Interior with CJ and Bryce have done a heck of a job out there at DB. You know, Duda had a great off season and everything, and he's competing and everything in fall camp. Rez is one of those guys I was talking about as well. Speak of the devil, Wendell that walks in, the old man I forget about, that's coming, that's been around. And so that's the key to everything now as you're looking at all these teams. Every good team, as you look at it from transfer portal, it all starts, do you have a quarterback? And then do you have depth, and you're bringing the experienced players in that can fill, because these seasons get longer. If a starter or a second guy goes down, you have an experienced player, and it's not just a new guy that's coming that's never played before.
Coach, I was going to ask this question regardless of if he walked in or not, but
Sure.
yeah, totally. But you look at this nickel corner room where you got a very experienced guy like Wendell out here, but then you also have some really young guys. How have you seen experienced guys in that room? Wendell, is Thule in there? How have they been with guys like Damon, with Zion, that could step into that role maybe next year or where the future lies?
No, it's been awesome, and that's what you want, right? If you can have leaders that your best players and everything that work hard, that's all the young guys see, and that's the standard. You know, and Wendell's played a lot of football. You know, he thought his time was done and then came back and had a little bit more. And then, like I said, I can't say enough about the type of person Chris Tooley is and what he's been through in these last couple months. And so those are the kids that you love, and those guys show everything. Damon was a young guy that's, you know, these freshmen that feel like they're drowning when they first get here in the spring. Now as we get out here in fall camp, they're like, man, I'm glad I was here for all those spring practices and installs and all that, because it's becoming a lot faster. And so Zion's another one that's a competitor that's going to play at corner, at nickel, at dime. He's smart. It's important to him. You know, those are the guys you love being around, like I said. And it's fun to come into work every day because you work for a great head coach. We got a great staff and we got great kids. And so it's going to be a challenge, but it's fun to be a part of with all these guys.
Time for one more. Anybody who hasn't gone that, go ahead.
Coach, you know, Coach Kelly mentioned that the interior defensive line is really going to surprise people this year. What have you seen from them so far through the first day?
Yeah, Coach Santana's done an excellent job. You know, Coach Lacey's with our edges and Coach Santana's with our inside pieces. And like I said, if you hit on transfers, then your room's usually going to be pretty good. And so I think he's held a standard there, and you got to be. When I first took over, where I've been the last couple schools, is if you get thin there, interior D lineman, you get some long days, and they start running the ball in, and you get no pass rush, any of that. And so we oversigned there a little bit, trying to take a little bit more DBs that can play multiple positions and go a little bit less numbers there, and get more numbers in interior D line. And so, you know, they're coached really well. They're led really well by CJ and Bryson there. Najon was the guy that I was with at Coastal Carolina. He was with Earl that came in and coached him. And then there's obviously a couple more guys that have been here and played. And so there's a thick rotation. And those guys, can get tired, and so you're going to rotate D-line more than any other position, and so you got a good nucleus of 1s, 2s, 3s, and possible 4 that can play in there that can help us out.